everyone, welcome back to the Stitches and Scribbles channel. My name is Erin, and for our podcast today I've got a couple things to show you, but also wanted to talk about some events and some life things that are going on, and this is definitely going to be an all over the place podcast. First I want to kind of start with a maybe announcement. I will be going out of town this weekend. I'll get to why in a few minutes. And because of when I'm coming back and what my subschedule looks like, I'm not 100% sure that I can film a podcast for next week, so we might have to take a podcast break next week. I'm not, firmly deciding that yet. I'm going to see how I feel when I get back, because I get back on Monday, and I usually film on Monday or Tuesday for podcasts, but because I'm not sure when I'm coming home on Monday, if I'm going to be exhausted on Tuesday. I've got a couple of sub days next week, so there's a chance that I'll skip the podcast. I kind of just wanted to give you a heads up. Hopefully all goes well and I can film on Tuesday, but there's also a chance that I don't have anything to show you because I wasn't working on anything all week. So we'll see. Just kind of wanted to give you a heads up on that. The other things that are coming up that are kind of adding to the challenge of this week's schedule, I have my very first craft fair on Wednesday. I'm currently filming this on Monday. It's actually at my chiropractor's office. They're doing an open house and they invited all of their patients who are small business owners, vendors, stuff like that to come be a part of the open house, which was a really great opportunity and I'm really excited about it. But I realized that while I have a lot of pre-made items, the thing I'm currently really low on is plushies. And plushies are the thing that I sell the most. So I kind of now have to cram the next 2 days to make a bunch of plushies. So this afternoon, Tuesday, and Wednesday, earlier in the day. Because setup starts at 5 for the open house. So I'm a little bit panicked about whether or not I'm going to be able to pull this off. I do have some plushies made, and actually I'm going to show you some of that stuff in a minute. But I would ideally like to have more, but because I've been so busy with other projects and orders and things I had to make as gifts for people and all sorts of stuff, I'm feeling a little bit behind. So, and the other thing that's going on this week is Thursday, not until evening on Thursday, but I'm leaving to go for a weekend bachelorette party for my friend who's getting married. And while, I'm really excited about that, it does mean that, I had to push a bunch of other tasks earlier in the week, both because of that and because of the craft fair. So, or not craft fair, the open house. So in addition to preparing for this craft fair, open house, whatever it is, I also have to pack. Currently halfway through doing laundry so that I can pack. And it's starting to feel like a very crazy week. But that's okay. We're going to get through it. And I'm going to have lots of time to knit in the car, hopefully, because of where we're driving. So that's kind of the update right now and why we might not get a podcast next week. There's a very reasonable chance that even if I do have the time to do it, that I will be exhausted. But anyway, for this week, I wanted to show you some recent purchases, but also my items I am taking to this open house. Again, timing worked out kind of funky. Ideally, I would have liked to have more items, but I also know that, my space is going to be really small, so I'm kind of limited on what I can bring anyway. So, I'll show you what I've got and kind of what my plan is. I'm also planning on vlogging my craft fair prep over the next couple days, so even if you don't get a podcast next week, you'll get my, craft fair vlog. So, here we go into the, actual substance of this episode. Let's start with some craft fair items first. So, the first thing I'm bringing with me is actually the leftover lavender sachets from my friend's bridal shower. They were all wrapped up nicely. They're the little knitted lavender sachets in these little bags. So I'm just going to take the leftovers and sell them as is. I know that a lot of there are some other vendors who have been at this open house in the past who have done like aromatherapy type stuff. So I have a feeling that this could go over really well with the chiropractor patients that come in, or people who'd be interested in going to the chiropractor. So I'll be bringing those, especially since they're like packaged and ready to go. And I don't need the extras anymore, so might as well send them off to somebody else. The other things I'm bringing, I'm going to save plushies for last, actually. Scrunchies. I have two different types. So this one is one that I made on my knitting machine. You just knit, I think it's like 20 rows on the big knitting machine and do a seamless like tube sewing. And there's just a regular hair tie in the middle. I like this style because it looks more like a scrunchie, but I think in terms of like ones I'd prefer to wear, I actually like the crocheted ones better. So these are made just by doing even a single row of double crochet all the way around the scrunchie, or all the way around the hair tie, and doing enough stitches that it kind of like folds over and creates that ruffle. So I have some of these in the velvet yarn. I probably have about 10 of these and about 10 of this style to sell. And I usually sell scrunchies for $10 because that's the price that has worked in the past for those. Although if I still have a ton once summer hits, I might drop them down to $5 because ideally I would like to stop making these. I don't think that they're as in as they were maybe like a year or two ago. The scrunchie like trend seems to have died off a little bit. Claw clips are more the thing now. But I don't think I can crochet claw clips. I could maybe crochet something onto claw clips, but I don't know if that's an avenue that I'm interested in pursuing. So I would like to get rid of these if possible. Another thing I'm bringing that did pretty well last summer, but I'm also kind of just trying to get rid of the stash that I have. Partially because I don't think this yarn is made anymore, but these were reusable water balloons. I think maybe I did a tutorial for these on my channel. Last year I was really good about doing a mini tutorial once a week over the summer that was usually for a knitting machine item. So that might be in my craft fair ideas playlist. But these are just made with an absorbent yarn. You dunk them in water and you can toss them as much as you like, and there's no cleanup, like the little popped water balloon pieces. Basically it's like you could do this with pieces of sponge and it would be the same effect, but these look a lot cuter. I sell these as a set of 4 for $15. I did have one person last year, I was kind of mad, who insisted on only buying one. So now I have like 2 sets of 4 and 1 set of 3 that I don't know what I'm going to do when I get down to the last 3. So we'll see if I get there. But it kind of drives me nuts when people do that at craft fairs. I've had that happen before with a baby blanket set where I had made a baby blanket, a hat, and a little like teething ring toy that were all in the same colors, and someone only wanted the hat. And it was a discontinued yarn, so I knew I wasn't going to be able to make a new hat to match the set. And like obviously I'm still willing to do it. A sale is still a sale. But it kind of drives me nuts when people want to break up a set that badly, especially if I have similar individual items. Also, the water balloon one did not make sense to me. Why would you want only one water balloon? Like, a water balloon fight or water balloon toss is not a single player game. So I don't know what that was about and why. I think it was a mom who was buying it for her kid. So I could not figure out why she only wanted one, but whatever. I now have 3 random ones that I guess if I don't sell them, I'll just keep them in my set of like kid toy things that I kind of keep around in case friends with small children come over. But I found that super weird, so you'll have to let me know if you're also a craft fair vendor. Leave a comment of like the weirdest request you've gotten from somebody, or like things that customers have done that just didn't make sense to you, because that's probably one of my top ones, other than like silly discussions about pricing, is the person who wanted to buy a single water balloon. We'll never understand that. But moving on. I also have more of my little cactus pots. These were super popular last year, but I'm still working off of last year's stash. I did purchase more pots so that I can make more. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, and I have like 9 left, and that should be enough for this event, because after this one, my next one is not until the middle of June, so I have a little bit of a break, and also like the end of the school year to get through. So I wasn't super worried about making more of these. I think ideally, if I had more time, I would have liked to do more sets of the Monstera coasters, because they're kind of like a similar idea to these, although the Monstera coaster pots have more functionality. I do have a vlog of me doing one set of those here on my channel. I did it like a month or 2 ago. It should be in my One Day Makes playlist. But that one that I made was sold to a friend. So I have the cactuses for now, but ideally I would like to do more little plants, whether they're the coasters or just for decoration. That was definitely one of my top selling items, especially when I first started being a craft fair vendor. Another item that consistently is like in the middle in terms of like how many I sell is these soap saver bags. So I've definitely shown these before, but you stick a bar of soap inside and then it becomes the washcloth, and you don't lose the ends of your soap. So I really like making these, but I had like 5 or 6 left, and I figured that that was enough to get me through this particular event. Although I will definitely have to make more. Next thing I've got that started as a, like, I was just bringing them with me to hold my own stuff down, but I have some painted rocks. I have more designs. These are just 2 of them. But originally I took a couple painted rocks that I had made with a friend and just used them to like weigh all of my baskets and stuff down for an outdoor craft fair, and people kept trying to buy them. So I eventually just started painting rocks and selling them. This is a pretty quick DIY, and I can kind of batch them. So now instead of each one being a unique design, I'll pick like 2 or 3 designs and make like 5 to 10 of each one, and that definitely speeds up the process. But I usually sell these for $2, and I have people who have come back and like tried to collect all of the ones that I have, especially since I create them in sets, which is wild to me that that's like one of my best-selling items. I think when I was doing my farmer's market over the summer that I did every week, I without fail sold at least 1 rock every single week. But I think at most there was one where I sold like 18 of them or something ridiculous. And they're a really nice, like, small item. They don't take up, I can put a lot out on my table and they don't take up that much space. But they are heavy to transport. So I'm always really happy when a bunch of them get sold, because then I know that packing up my boxes, they won't be as heavy on the way out as they were on the way in. So it's always nice to sell a bunch of those. I definitely have people buy them for their gardens. I did have a couple people tell me they were purchasing them to be pet gravestones in their backyard, which that's a great way to mark that. I was just surprised that people were telling me that. I have not gotten a request for a custom one, though. I would think if it was a pet headstone, people would ask like for their pet's name to be on it, but no one has asked me that so far. But yeah, painted rocks. Surprisingly lucrative item to sell. I also go to a beach not too far from me where the beach is all flat rocks, and I just collect a bunch of them. So I'm not even purchasing the rocks. The acrylic paint is paint that I already have because of other projects. So it's it's supplies that I already have that I get to use or that I'm picking up somewhere for free. So that's been a really nice project to sell. Some other items, I do lots of these twisty headbands. I'm not bringing a ton of these with me. I think I picked 10 of the twisty headbands to bring, just because it's getting warm out. So they definitely tend to do better as soon as it like starts to get cold in the fall. But I still wanted to have some out because if nothing else, they're good table filler as other things sell. So this is one that I did with 2 different colors where it's split in half. I have some in solid colors, some in patterns, some that are split like this. I really like the split ones. And I think I sold a lot of my split ones last year. I only have 2 or 3 left. So that's definitely something I will have to make more of. I'm also bringing hats. I have a couple of this style where there's no pom-pom at the top and they're reversible. So this one is just green on the inside. I'm from Wisconsin, had to do some Packers colors. And then I have some with pom-poms on top in a variety of colors and patterns. And the headbands and both hat designs were made on the knitting machine as well. And I charge $20 for hats. I know I've kind of been forgetting to say prices. I said the rocks were $2. I talked about the water balloons, talked about the scrunchies. Soap savers I sell for $10. The cactuses I sell for $15 just because the pots are a little bit expensive. And the cactuses are also made on the knitting machine except for the flower, which is crocheted. I'm going to move on to the plushies that I have. So I have one dino made. This was my vlog from last week. Really enjoyed making him. I'm hoping that I can maybe squeeze out another one this week, but I'm not counting on it. So he might be my only dino that goes with me. I would consider him a large plushie for my sizes, and I usually do large plushies for $30 and small ones for $20. Another large plushie that I'm bringing is my last big mushroom. This is made with Bernat blanket yarn. It's from a regular amigurumi pattern, but when you do it in the chunky yarn, you get a much bigger product. I also have a vlog for this one on my channel, so if you just search mushroom on my channel, this should be the only video. I don't think I have any other mushroom content. What else have I got? I've got bees. I think I have 2 of these left. Again, I would sell these for $20. And I have a little no-sew octopus that I would also sell for $20. And I believe I have 2 octos already done too. So I'm going to move into the haul section of this podcast. I wasn't intending to do a craft store run this week, but I have a friend who is hosting a Kentucky Derby party, and it's actually while I'm gone on the bachelorette trip, but she's one of those friends where if she has to run errands, or if I have to run errands, we call each other and see if the other one wants to go. So this was one of those times. She said that she had to go to pick up some like food and drink supplies, but also had to go to the craft store. So I said, I will absolutely go with you for those things. So we ended up going to both Joann and Michael's, although all of my stuff was purchased from Joann. I did not get anything from Michael's. Some of it was, I went in knowing that I was looking for it, and some of it I did not. Also, there's a couple items up here that I know were from my previous trip to Joann. So I apologize if I've already talked about them, but I can't remember if I did or not because they were still in the bag that I purchased them in. And some of them go with the new stuff that I purchased, so I'll just show them again anyway. So if some things look familiar, that is why. First thing I got was just because it was on clearance. I found these 2 rolls of fabric. There was this one from Place and Time. It's just called Crafty Lace Snowflakes is the name of the print. They're kind of like little stitched snowflakes, but they also just kind of look floral to me. I'll have to open it up and see if it really looks Christmassy, but this was on sale for $12.97 and it was originally $25 because it was in with the Christmas stuff. And then I also got the Place and Time pre-cut cotton fabric in the color Nomi Christmas Pine Cones on green. So it's all these little gnomes and pine cones, and this was originally $10 on sale for $4.97. So I got both of those to hopefully make something for Christmas. Have I opened my sewing machine yet? No. That's going to be an over the summer project. I don't know why I know that learning how to use the sewing machine is totally doable for me. It's not going to be that big of a deal, but there's something kind of intimidating about it. I think I'm going to have to watch a couple like tutorials for my specific model first. I'm also very afraid that I'm going to buy the wrong kind of thread, which I'm pretty sure all thread works with the sewing machine. So I don't know why I'm freaked out about that, but I definitely need to like wait for a week where I have more time to dedicate to it in order to try it. I keep thinking like, oh, that would be an easy quick vlog, and then I actually think about it and go, no, actually it wouldn't be. There's like significant time involved in that. But anyway, we're gonna move on. So this is the blanket yarn that I think I already showed, but this is the Bernat blanket in the color Smoky Green. I'm hoping to use this today to make some amigurumi frogs. I've seen a pattern floating around on TikTok and Instagram that people are calling leggy frogs. They're like little no-sew frog amigurumis, so I'm hoping to make a bunch of those with this color and with this other color that I got. This one is the Bernat Baby Blanket Sparkle in the color Limeade Sparkle. It looks yellow next to the other green, but I promise it is green, because there was also a neon yellow. This one's definitely green, but I thought having the sparkle neon version and the like soft sagey green version as my 2 options would be really good. I also purchased the Bernat Baby Blanket Sparkle in the color Freesia Sparkle to do some more octopus amigurumis. And I thought this would be a cute color for that. I also like the idea of doing more of both of those patterns because they're both no-sew designs. So I think I'm going to start today by cranking out as many of those 2 as I can, and then like evaluate what other yarn I have in stash and maybe make a couple of other bigger plushies. But I'm definitely going to start with a bunch of frogs and a bunch of the no-sew octos. I also have some other yarn to use for octos. I think I don't have more of this color, but I have another color that's like this, but it has some purple in it, or like dusty blue. So definitely have colors to make octos. And then these 2 things I think I maybe showed already, but I got some black Big Twist Living. Yeah, the color's just called black, and some stiff felt. But I also got these, which are the like little butterflies that are meant for wreaths and like floral arrangements. And I think I talked about this in a previous podcast, but I'll go ahead and say it again. I want to do a butterfly inspired Renaissance Fair costume. So I want to crochet a dragon amigurumi, but give it butterfly wings. So I'm going to cut the wings out of the stiff black felt and paint the like orange and white and black design on them. But then I also thought these would be fun to pin either in my hair or on my costume. I will probably use the wings. I always point the wrong way. The wings that are sitting behind me as part of the costume as well, and then the yarn was for the dragon. So those were the things that I purchased from the craft store when I was not actually planning a craft store run. But I think I definitely needed some easy amigurumis to make, so I'm hoping that the frogs and some more octos will kind of be the solution to that. I also need to just do a Pinterest search for no-sew amigurumi and see if there are any other designs that pop up that would be really easy. But the leggy frogs seem to be doing really well, at least on social media, so I figured a couple frogs wouldn't hurt for sure. And since I'm down to only 2 octos, I know that they did pretty well last year as well. I also might try to look for a mini mushroom pattern so that I don't have to make the, like, giant one again. Although, like, it's not that I never want to make that one again, but if I can get more little amigurumi out instead of, like, a few big ones, I think that would be better for this particular event. And I think that's it. That's all the stuff I've got to show you this week. Yeah, so next week there might not be a podcast, but there will be a vlog of me making lots of leggy frogs and maybe some other amigurumi as well. Because I'm going to start filming that as soon as I'm done filming this. So I should probably stop so that I can start making those things. But thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw today and want to see more crafty content, make sure to hit the subscribe button below. I post a podcast usually every Wednesday. Next week might be the exception. And I post a different video every Friday, whether it's a craft with me vlog, a quiet, like, ambient crafting video, or a tutorial. If you want to follow me on other social media, that information will also be in the description box below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone!